and says he pays his tithes and his tithe works for him. What do we say, Apostle Philemon, about such a scenario?
Powerful.
First and foremost, like you said before, that he brands such a secular musician before his congregation, that is wrong. That is wrong. It shows how that man's moral value has reduced. You don't do that. When you brand a secular musician before the church, you are indirectly telling your church congregants to follow suit. And you know, most of the times, the way they dress is something else.
Of course.
And then you have folks who will just use that as leverage to say, okay, our pastor follows, or this guy submits to our pastor, and then why not let's follow suit and then do what he does. That's one part, and it's wrong. Number two, you spoke about tithing. Now, being a good tither does not make you a Christian. Being a good tither will not make you make heaven. These are spiritual exercises that can be obtainable by anybody, and it will produce results. But that it has produced results doesn't mean you make heaven. Making heaven has other steps you must take. You must be saved. You must have accepted Jesus. The life of Jesus must have become the life you live now. And this is what so many musicians out there do not have.
Okay.
So it is not right for you to endorse, you as a minister of God, to endorse such a person. Because at the end of it all, eating his money will also be used as judgment against you.
Over jokes. Do you agree to that?
I think this is the one point
That you agree with?
that I agree with the man of God.
Okay.
Okay, so he has said it all. I actually wanted to speak, so it doesn't look as if he is trying to defend pastors. But the truth is, endorsing a secular musician, there should be a part of love where you can pastor that person, but doing it privately, so that it doesn't give a wrong impressions to a lot of followers, because the souls of those people are also very important.
So are you saying, Mother Jules, now I'm getting you wrong, I don't want to misinterpret what you have said now. Are you saying that because one is a secular artist that does erotic kind of songs, but believes in Jesus, goes to church, so when the person gets to church, doors of the church should be locked against such a person, and person should go home and get private pastoring from the pastor?
No, what I'm saying is endorsement. There's a difference between an endorsement, you understand me, and closing the doors of the church. Everybody comes to church. The church is like a hospital.
Yes.
Am I correct, sir? Everybody comes to church. But then what I'm saying is giving premium to that person and giving him special treatment more than every other person. Do you understand?
I get it.
Like the person joining the choir department, the choir, and singing in the choir, holding the microphone to represent your church structure to the people. Do you understand?
Yes.
It is wrong. But if the person comes to be a member of the church and needs time to find his placement in the kingdom before he takes the decision of what he should do, if he should leave that, you as a pastor, you won't force your member to stop doing something. Yours is to preach the gospel. So what I'm saying about the pastor going the extra mile is probably having to show personal love, because Christianity is love. You don't despise them, you show personal love. So person, are you okay? Because most of them go through a lot. It does not mean because they do what they do, we should abandon them.
Okay.
We go show them love to try and rescue them.
Okay, now,
Yes,
sorry to cut you, Mother Jules.
Yes, sir.
One question that has been in the minds of a lot of people.
Yes, sir.
This question is not restricted to continent
Okay.
or nation.
Okay.
This is universal.
Okay.
Now, people say that ministries do not pay their artists, their music ministers. They do not pay their instrumentalists. They do not pay their sound engineers. But when you invite a popular minister of the gospel, you pay them a huge amount of money to minister for 30 minutes, yet do not pay these persons in your church who work for 30 days? How do you want to create a balance in this thought that these persons are having? How would you want to create a balance and help them manage the situation?
Okay, firstly, I think this is not a question of whether it happens or not.
So you are saying outrightly that it does happen.
Sure, it does happen.
Are you against it?
Well,
I think you are being careful to respond.
No, I'm not being careful to respond, as it were. I am trying to keep a balance and bring out the truth, okay, because it's relative. Like I spoke about a talent, acquiring skills and becoming a brand.
Of course you did.
That's for an artist. It also applies to a church. The churches that are just growing, that have not gotten structures and become branded, that doesn't necessarily need a professional sound engineer. They don't need a professionals on the keyboard. They have not grown to that extent yet. Okay, so it will be bad of us to say that pastor should pay the people underneath him. But then when a ministry now grows to an international level, that they are reaching out to the world, and they are now using equipment that needs special hands, special people who have special skills, in as much as they are talented, but they need people not just talented, but then people that have grown and are skillful in the things that they do, then you should pay them. Okay?
So you're saying not until a ministry has grown, and then also not until these persons are professionals.
Yes.
Payment should not even come into question.
Payment should not come into the question. It should be like professionals dealing with professionals.
But do you know some of this? Okay, before I come on the defense of the ministry to avoid to appear as if I'm taking sides, I think I'll let Apostle Philemon speak a little bit on that. Apostle, now we have had keyboardists who, for example, there's a story that happened, how a church music director ended up committing suicide. We had a first story about how he was stranded, and then the other how he was on suspension, and we had different sides of different stories to that particular situation. But the truth remains, that is a church music director who committed suicide. Cure ED is not changing. Now the guy is not here to tell us why he did it or the real truth about what really happened, but it has happened. Now, we have numerous music directors, keyboardists, sound engineers, music ministers who are in ministries and are not getting any form of take home at the end of the month. But they witness how huge amounts of money are paid to other music ministers that are referred to top or celebrated music ministers, which refer to as celebrities, are given this huge amount of money for a very short period of time during the program. They take it and they go. What is your take on that, Apostle Philemon?
Now, thank you for asking me that question. In 2007, God spoke to me that He would bring people, but I wouldn't have to manipulate them, that I would learn to manage them. So when you have talents under you, you have to understand what they have to offer and then know how to manage them.
Yes.
And in so doing, whatever you can do to be a blessing to their life, you have to do it.
So you are indirectly saying, Apostle, that these music ministers or these persons, these professionals, as Mother Joseph has earlier mentioned, should be entitled to support, not salaries.
Before you can support someone, you must have the capacity. But if you have not built that capacity, they too should understand. That is why I said you don't manipulate people. You have to.
But we are
manage them.
referring to ministries who have the capacity to. But just has actually said that a new ministry just starting, it is absurd for you to come in and say, okay, I know you're just 6 months or 1 year or 2 years old, but you start paying me. He has said that already. But we are referring to ministries who have been here for like a decade, for like 2 decades, for like 3 decades. Yet, still do not, are you saying for 3 decades and have been able to build an international brand for themselves? Yes. Now, what do you say in such a scenario?
Okay, if you as a pastor have a secretary you pay, you have workers you pay, and then you feel these talents give you their time and you have ability to pay them, you have to go ahead and do so. Because if their time with which they could have gone out to work to fend for themselves, they are giving it to your ministry, they are giving it to the call of God on your life, then you have to pay them.
If a secretary gets paid because that's something that he or she might have studied in school, grew in it, learnt it, and became good, and now got a job to that effect and gets paid in a church, you get paid for it. But how about a music minister who have studied music, graduated, takes singing as now a career, and is in the church and not getting paid?
Whoever you think and you understand that his or her services are needed in your work, you pay for their service.
But what about those that are not being paid, yet their services are being rendered on a daily basis?
It is not how it should be. The pastors should, make a change, and then if you have the capacity, like I've said, you pay them.
But some of these ministries have defense, and one amongst their numerous defense is that some of these music ministers actually got trained, got nurtured under the ministry over the period of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. And then these same artists are now requesting that these same persons who have trained them, it's like you telling your dad who have seen you through school and say, I'm done with school now, I have graduated. Should I think I need to be on a monthly take home of a particular amount because I clean the car, I sweep the house, I think you should begin to pay me for it. Now, these ministries are saying, we have nurtured you, we have trained you, we have invested into you, we have actually sent you even to music courses and music schools, and now you are back, now you are big. Now we are supposed to pay you again.
Now let me come in from there. Your question is quite clearer now. Now let's take it from this perspective. If this person you're talking about, this music minister, actually has all his time for you, he has been trained, he has become very talented, and has all his time for you, you have to pay him. Still, you have to pay him, because such a person has family. Such a person has an immediate family and his family that are home to cater for. He shouldn't just give you all his time, even after you have trained him, and at the end you won't support his life. No. Because at the end of it all, after investing his time to support your ministry, and then he goes home, what will he eat? How will he pay his rent? And if his mom or his dad calls for financial support, how then will he render such support? So you have to also at least be a blessing to such person. Pay him. Even if you have you took him from nobody and brought him to somebody, still paying him is still in the process of making him somebody.
Wonderful.
I think I'll come in here. Yes, I have had situations where churches actually train certain personnel. But then when we have companies that train people, send them for courses, abroad, 3 months courses, 1 year courses, as the case may be. And
they come back and still get paid afterwards.
They still work in the company.
And still get paid.
If you're training somebody for a particular purpose in your ministry, and you wouldn't want to pay the person, you should make it clear to the person. When I train you and you come back, help me work on people. Give me your services But then you have to call the shots about the time that you are around so that you have time to fend for yourself and fetch something to eat while you help us. I think church...
You are saying that these persons and the church should strike a balance.
Yeah, there should be a balance. If you are not taking care of the person's responsibility from everything, the person's bills, you should give him some time to sort himself out. Weekly days to sort himself
because
out.
some ministries want you to be around on Monday, on Tuesday, on Wednesday, on Thursday, on Friday, on Saturday.
So, but then if you want them to be around all the time, then there should be an agreement of a certain amount that should be, given to that person, allocated to that person every month, or as the case may be, as a salary.
Apostle Philemon, you have anything to say?
Yeah, I do. Now, like he has said, I want to chip in something there. If you have trained somebody, it's so he should also be a trainer to others. And your investment in him does not die inside of him. He also passes it on to others. You can't just take the whole of your choristers and go train them. But you can as well train one and then bring him back to be a blessing to others. And others should be willing to learn. Like, if people do not, or if pastors, like, so to say, do not pay their ministers when they have the capacity to do that, is wickedness. You should be able to sort things out, assist people when they have needs. Like, when they give you the totality of their time, you also bless them because they have given you their time. Appreciate them for that. It's very important. Many pastors don't know this. They have become self-centered. And becoming self-centered is what has given so many talented, as it were, ministers of God gone into the world to fend for themselves. And it becomes easy for them because Satan just gives them platform because he wants to hold them. He gives them platform, and the platform is very easy. The moment they just accept, they are like, wow, this is how it is here. And it's like I was in a cage. So even if you are preaching to such a person to come back, when he remembers where he's coming from, it's like this is even what where God wants him to be.
Yes.
Because Satan just gives him a garden to leverage. So we should understand that one. Now, sorry, I will take you back a little.
Yes.
Let's going back to a secular musician coming to the church. And he said you can't just give him mic. Personally, there are ways you bring the person in, give the person acceptance, show the person a family love that the world cannot show him, that he will have no need to go out but to remain.
Okay.
He will have no reason to go out. When you show him love, you show him kindness, and then the church see you embrace him, bringing him back home. Let's take, for instance, sorry I'm mentioning the name, Beyoncé Knowles. He's an American musician.
Yeah.
She was in the choir. She was in the choir for years. There is a film that she actually put out that actually depicts whatever she went through.
Fighting Temptation.
Fighting Temptation. If you see that movie, you will discover that the church pushed her into the world. We have learned from all those things. We are not prepared to make such blunders anymore. We have learned from them, and now the way we embrace ministers, you'll be surprised. Certain people who are not even called into becoming gospel ministers, they want to do it because the way the church accepts them now. Our fathers at church have actually failed. Let's be open to ourselves. Realistic. Our fathers have actually failed in that area, and we are not ready to fail. The baton that has been given to us, we have to hold it. We have to change the status quo, make it more accessible. The Bible says, bring them in as they are. So in doing so, we have to be open-handed. They will come. We accept them, welcome them, let them know this is what we stand for. And they will give them that opportunity by showing them love. And you see, most of the times they come. I heard Beyoncé Knowles sing some couple of months ago.
When Jesus say yes, nobody
You've
can
listened
say
to
no.
it.
Yes.
You see the way she sang it, it was too awesome.
Yes.
And you see the worldly people that were around her, they were so excited.
Yes, they
They
were.
weren't looking at, oh, she has mentioned Jesus. No, they were so excited. They accepted it. Now, if God gave her that platform, God gave her that gift. If we can harness such a crowd through such an artist, it's a wise thing to do. It's a wise thing.
So, in a nutshell,
Yeah.
these artists are not actually outrightly condemned.
No.
They are not.
No man is condemned. As far as you are still breathing, no man is condemned. That's why we cannot judge them. We don't know their relationship with God. They may come out and then portray something else, but within themselves they have a fellowship and they have a message to pass. They should be celebrated for that.
Okay. While we wrap up this wonderful session, I believe a lot of persons watching, listening to you both have been enlightened more about this situation regarding talent and the church. But I want you to give them your advice, the church and these ministers, these talented persons, making reference to comedy, to dance, to drama, and especially music.
Okay, to music ministers, dance ministers, comedians, and every other form of art that are in the church, I'd advise you that this may be harsh, but get a source of income. Do something for yourself, something that feeds you. Put your hands into one or two things. Get skilled in some other things that can, give you income.
Apostle.
Thank you very much. To wrap up, every pastor has to understand, or any church leader has to understand, that these talents were brought for you to harness and position them for the praise of God. So you have to, as a pastor, understand when you position them, you should take good care of them. Because if they have actually come as talents and you were not able to position them well, you'll give account of it. You've got to understand that. And you that is a gospel artist or one who acts to entertain the people of God, you must also understand that even if you are not being recognized now, everything works with times and season. You give focus on that which you have discovered about yourself that is unique. Keep pressing, keep pushing forward. There is never going to be a better yesterday.
Yes.
And at the end of it all, what you have believed in yourself to have will bring a platform that will make you shine tomorrow. So I just believe in that, and I believe God, I believe grace. These things will come to pass in that life. Thank you.
I want to thank you so much, Apostle Philemon,
Thank
ehimark, and Minister Mavajokes.
Thank
It's
you.
been a wonderful, wonderful time with you.
Thank you.
And thank you for making our time to come here to actually trash at this very sensitive issue. And I'm sure a lot of persons out there have been blessed. My name is Stephen Agafie, and I want to wrap up with this. Just like what Apostle Philemon and Mavajokes have said, there is absolutely no reason to turn your back against the church. The battle is not between churches or within the church. The battle is against the church. So if you're an artist, if you're a talented person, and you are saying, I left the church because of this, I left the church because of that, or I am intending to leave the church because of this, you have heard them rightly. There is absolutely no reason, no excuse to turn your back against God. No reason. This is Talent and the Church, and I want to say thank you for watching. God bless you.